Okay, haven't we been down this road before? What do they say? What is the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over, but expecting a different result. I mean, we can go back to Project High Jump, Admiral Byrd, Roswell, Project Blue Book. This big release in 2020 written into the COVID bill where the Pentagon is going to release everything they know about the UFO phenomenon, or at least a lot of what they know, and instead we get this 9-page report that was an absolute slap in the face. It looked like, some White House admin turned in a late book report. Okay, it was awful. There was nothing revealing in there. Nothing has come of that. And now, we're trusting our government to give us all the answers about UFOs. But the fact of the matter is, it's going to take us, people like me, people like you, to get to the bottom of this phenomenon, to have transparency, to have truth about the UFO phenomenon. So let's get into it.
To show that lame video when you can find all this other that's out there. And I've talked to Navy pilots that are in there at the same time, Navy pilot, and that's the kind of people you need to have in here for testimony.
No distinct wings, no distinct tail, no distinct exhaust plume, much like you see in the gimbal video. It seemed like they were aware of our presence because they would actively move around us.
Both of us, both airplanes, see a disturbance in the water and a white 40-foot long tic-tac shaped object just hovering above the water, going forward, back, left, right. There's no rotor wash, there's no wings, nothing. And as I get within about a half mile of it, it rapidly accelerates to the south in about 2 seconds and disappears. This was extremely abrupt, like a ping pong ball bouncing off a wall. The ability to hover over the water and then start a vertical climb from basically zero up towards about 12,000 feet and then accelerate in less than 2 seconds and disappear is something I had never seen in my life. I believe, as do the other folks that were on the flight, that when we visually saw it, that it was something not from this world.
That video seemed to be taken from an iPhone, from an F-18.
I don't know what, an iPhone, and we've got literally, I'm sorry, I keep pointing, I'm not mad at you all. When we have video from Navy pilots, from their wing cameras, for goodness sake.
That seems
bring
to
those guys in here.
Yeah, it seems to raise a question if they've got.
And by telling you that they have, whistleblower protection or something, that's bogus until it's in the law. For us to just sit here and talk about it is bogus, and you really need to provide them with some sort of ability to come in here and not be persecuted and not have a blemish on their records.
They kept talking about 18 cases that seemed to baffle them and they didn't have explanations for. Would you like to see more?
I sure would. Transparency. I do not fear the American public knowing what we have. I would sure as heck like them to see it.
So did you learn anything today?
No, ma'am. I learned that I was correct and that the cover-up will continue. The cover-up will continue.
Okay, let's read what Representative Tim Burchett had to say. The UFO hearing this morning was a total joke. We should have heard from people who could talk about things they'd personally seen, like the fighter pilots, okay? But instead, the witnesses were government officials with limited knowledge who couldn't give real answers to serious questions. Now, what does this remind you of? Here's just a prime example. June 25th, 2021, they released this 9-page report that revealed nothing. Okay, and again, what irritates me about this, and we'll get to the good stuff, but what irritates me is the amount of faith people put into the United States government, that they're just somehow going to reveal what they know and be completely transparent with the public. I think what it is, people are so desperate for answers that they're looking to the wrong people. You're looking to the people that are lying to you. Like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, it's like Stockholm Syndrome, where you have faith in these people that have lied to you for generations. I mean, going back to the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s. These are the same people, these establishment politicians that just continue to lie and conceal and to talk out of both sides of their mouth, or to say, we're going to have a closed door meeting to discuss, what's really going on. And to be fair, half of them, they don't even know what is going on. They were so ill prepared for this hearing. It was embarrassing to watch. Now, let me give you an example here. They played a few videos that looked like an amateur YouTuber put it together. They couldn't even display the UFO on a monitor. I mean, it's just like a circus.
Is that it right there? Can you point to the screen again what we're supposed to be looking at?
Now, keep in mind, these fighter jets are equipped with multi-million-dollar camera systems, capable of recording in the highest definition humanly possible. But we get these ridiculous videos that they're showing at this hearing. I mean, again, it looks like, a really bad YouTuber put this together. Not even that. That's actually giving them a lot of credit. Ill-prepared, just completely ignorant to the topic. It was embarrassing. Okay, now I get it. Some of the guys out there, they're advocating for transparency, for the truth, maybe even putting their own careers on the line. But that hearing was an absolute joke. It was hard to watch. I mean, to be honest, I kind of skipped through a lot of it because it was just so bad, so embarrassing. But this right here, I want to play a little, and it's kind of long. You guys can skip through it. A little 5-minute segment of this back and forth. I think this was probably, in my opinion, one of the best parts of the hearing because it proves that there are secret organizations inside the government, outside of ATIP, right? Outside of Project Blue Book, that's been studying UFOs
to join this hearing.
For decades.
I really appreciate the witness's testimony. Mr. Moultrie, as the chairman mentioned, DoD had an initiative to study UFOs in the 1960s called Project Blue Book. It's also been well reported in our briefing and in other places that we have more recent projects, specifically ATIP. Could you describe any other initiatives that the DoD or DoD contractors have managed after Project Blue Book ended and prior to ATIP beginning? Did anything also predate Project Blue Book?
So I can't speak to what may have predated Project Blue Book. I mean, of course, there's Roswell and all these other things that people have talked about over the years. I'm familiar with Blue Book. I'm familiar with ATIP. I haven't seen other documented studies that have been done by DoD in that regard.
So you're not aware of anything in between Project Blue Book and ATIP?
I'm not aware of anything that's official that was done in between those two. Okay. Hasn't been brought to my attention.
Okay. Additionally, are you aware of any other DoD or DoD contract programs focused on UAPs from a technological engineering perspective? And by that I mean, are you aware of any technology initiatives focused on this topic other than initiatives focused on the individual case investigations?
I'm not aware of any contractual programs that are focused on anything related to this other than what we are doing in the Navy Task Force and what we are about to launch in terms of our effort.
Same question for you, Mr. Bray.
Same answer, not aware of anything outside what we are doing in the UAP Task Force.
So just to confirm, you're not aware of any technology or engineering resources that have been focused on these efforts besides what we've mentioned today?
Once again, I'll say no contractual or programmatic efforts that are involved. The reason why I qualify it that way. Yeah, let me qualify it that way. I can't speak to what people may be looking at in the department. Somebody says, I'm looking at something that may be unidentified, and I can't speak to that. I speak to official programs that we have on the record.
It's also been reported that there have been UAP observed and interacting with and flying over sensitive military facilities, particularly, and not just ranges, but some facilities housing our strategic nuclear forces. One such incident allegedly occurred at Malmstrom Air Force Base, in which 10 of our nuclear ICBMs were rendered inoperable. At the same time, a glowing red orb was observed overhead. I'm not commenting on the accuracy of this. I'm simply asking you whether you're aware of it and whether you have any comment on the accuracy of that report.
Let me pass that to Mr. Bray. If you've been looking at UAPs over the last 3 years.
That data is not within the holdings of the UAP task force.
Okay, but are you aware of the report, or that the data exists somewhere?
I have heard stories. I have not seen the official data on that.
So you've just seen informal stories, no official assessment that you've done or exists within DoD that you're aware of regarding the Malmstrom incident?
All I can speak to is what's within my cognizance of the UAP task force, and we have not looked at that incident.
Well, I would say, it's a pretty high-profile incident. I don't claim to be an expert on this, but that's out there in the ether. You're the guys investigating it. I mean, who else is doing it?
If something was officially brought to our attention, we would look at it. There are many things that are out there in the ether that aren't officially brought to our attention.
So how would it have to be officially brought to your attention? I'm bringing it to your attention.
Sure, so,
this is pretty official.
Sure. So we'll go back and take a look at it, but generally there is some authoritative figure that says there is an incident that occurred. We'd like you to look at this. But in terms of just tracking what may be in the media that says that something occurred at this time, at this place, there are probably a lot of leads that we would have to follow up on. I don't think we are resourced to do that right now.
Well, I don't claim to be an authoritative figure, but for what it's worth, I would like you to look into it. And
sure.
If for no other reason, you could dismiss it and say this is not worth wasting resources on.
Will do.
And then finally, are you aware of a document that appeared around 2019, sometimes called the Admiral Wilson Memo or EW Notes Memo?
I am not.
You're not.
I'm not personally aware of that.
Okay. This is a document in which, again, I'm not commenting on the veracity. I was hoping you would help me with that, in which a former head of DIA claims to have had a conversation with the Dr. Eric Wilson and claims to have sort of been made aware of certain contractors or...
Okay, so again, I know people are really excited about this, that finally the government has come forward, first time in 54 years, to reveal what they know, but really there wasn't a whole lot revealed. Now, is it a step in the right direction? Yes. I mean, so there is maybe a silver lining to it. They believe it is a, national security threat, meaning more money, more wars, probably, lining their own pockets, things like that. Like, I just don't trust them. Again, these people have lied to us for years and years and years, for over half a century. These same people, okay, and their legacies, their lineage, they've all lied to us. So I just don't understand why everyone is so excited about this. I mean, you can go watch the entire hearing for yourself. They really didn't reveal anything new, and the videos that they played, again, was an absolute embarrassment. These unclassified videos of fighter pilots recording UFOs on their iPhone. Meanwhile, they're sitting on top of $1 million worth of camera systems that they won't release to the public. And any real question that was asked, they said, well, we'll discuss that in a closed door meeting. We can't tell the public. So what do we want? We want transparency. Give us 10%. I mean, I understand a lot of it is national security, or they don't know, and there is some type of risk involved. I get that. I'm not stupid, okay? But I don't like being lied to like I am stupid, and that's my point. Now, unfortunately, there's a lot of, UFO channels out there that are going to milk this for everything it's worth. And again, I think they have Stockholm Syndrome. I really do. It's like they start to have sympathy and to believe they're attackers, okay? The people that are the villains here. And they just, I guess, maybe manifest this emotional connection with these people, right? And it's sad to see, and I have to remind everyone out there, these are the same people that they've been lying to you over and over and over, or at a bare minimum, they simply don't know. They're incompetent. It's one or the other. And again, there's a few, representatives and senators out there that have come forward that are knowledgeable, and, thank God for them. But, this is a scary time for me. I mean, the UFO phenomenon is real, and either they're really dumb or they're lying. It can't, there's no in between, right? I mean, when I say they, I'm talking about our government. Either they're simply lying to you or they're just stupid. I mean, look at that 9-page report in 2020. That was, I almost quit ufology over that. It was such a slap in the face. It seriously pissed me off. Okay. Now Okay, they're having this hearing, first one in 54 years, and it's a nothing burger. It's nothing. There's nothing there. Now, if you're a content creator, you could probably squeeze out a couple of videos, maybe a couple of lives, get you a few donations, maybe sell a t-shirt. I get it. But for people like me, people like a lot of you out there who are serious about the UFO topic and transparency and disclosure, it did nothing. It did nothing. Now, maybe it was a step in the right direction. Let me see, guys, I'm torn here, but I'm going to say 80-20. It was 80% BS and 20% maybe a step in the right direction. So that's how I feel about it. I don't mean to be negative. I don't trust our government. They're liars. They're con artists, and they do not have your best interest at heart. Okay, and they have their own careers and their own money and their own bank accounts, in mind, not you, not me. And that's the whole the cold hard truth of it. So you guys, I'm getting upset here. I'm very passionate about this UFO topic. So tell me what you think below. Am I off point? Do you agree? Do you disagree? And if so, explain, and I will respond to you in the comments. If you can make a case for the people that have lied to us for over 50 years.